and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. It is another beautiful yet a little bit warm day here at Ryno Ranch, and well, we're getting back on to phase 2 of the Ryno Ranch gate project. So I'll give you guys a look at the driveway here now that it has dried for a couple of days. You can see that cold joint over there. I'm telling you guys, it does look a lot worse on camera than it does in person. It's not the end of the world. We're going to get in with a little bit of muriatic acid and we'll be able to blend kind of that seam a little better there from when you know, the old concrete company brought us some late concrete. Everything else is looking great. They're going to come in again and get rid of all these pressure washer marks as well. We're just going to wait till the very end before we give the whole driveway one good clean. You can see down here the cars driving by do tend to put a lot of dust and dirt up on the driveway, so it's a good thing we got the street sweeper because it's going to be doing a lot of cleaning out here. But eventually my goal is at some point to at least pave this portion in front of the house, if not pave all the way down the road there. So we'll see what happens. Obviously everything's time permitting and dollar permitting because it is not cheap. Now today we're going to be rolling into phase 2, and phase 2 is where you're going to see probably the biggest transformation on the gate project, because that's where we're going to be putting the next batch of driveway, which is going to go up to our gate. So we're going to be doing our block columns that the gates are going to attach to. We're going to be doing the guard check. We're going to be doing the wall that splits the columns. This is where everything's going to really start to take shape here, and this is like probably the part that I'm most excited about. So right now we're working on laying some string lines out so we know exactly where we're going to be coming. And if you guys watch the previous videos, you see coming up here there's a pretty big grade difference. It's about like 29 inches from that side of the driveway to over here. So the string line, I mean, it's not level, but let's just pretend that string line's level, and you can see just how high that is up off the ground here. So once we get our layout and figure out where we want our walls, we're going to dig our footings, build the walls, then we're going to come in, bring some dirt in, and we're going to kind of feather that transition a little bit. We're going to bring the dirt up on this side. Obviously we can't go perfectly level. Well, we don't want to go perfectly level. We want to keep the water going that way, but we can't get super close to level without just bringing up the dirt a massive amount. So we're going to feather it as best that we can to make it look good while not having to bring in an absolute ton of fill. So we're currently employing a little bit of technology here to make sure everything is kind of squared up. We got the drone up in the air. You can see, say hi drone. Obviously if you see the old driveway, it kind of does like a weird turn there. This one's going to come straight, and then at some point we're going to end up like winding it up to the house or maybe straight shot. I haven't really thought that far ahead yet. We're going one phase at a time here. So once we get past the guard check, the gate and all that stuff, then it's going to kind of change. Obviously we're not going to keep the same 40 to 60 foot width because that going all the way up to the house is an absolute ton of concrete. Now it's going to be hard to see, but just to kind of give you guys a little bit of my thought process on how things are working here. You see this little area right here that's kind of squared off just with little hash marks right now until we actually figure out exactly where it's going to go. We're planning on this being the guard check, and we're kind of measuring it 7'4" by 9'6". Don't quote me on that right now, but I want to make sure it's back far enough off the road to where it kind of gets to where it levels out a little bit up here on the higher side of the driveway. And the guard check's going to come to about here, which will be that line right there. Then there's going to be a little bit of a wall, and then the gate's going to start over here. So we're not going to continue the driveway straight. Well, we are going to continue the driveway straight for about probably another 10-12 feet right here. Then we're going to start, you kind of see my preliminary line there. It's not going to be at that angle, but we're going to start to radius the driveway out, and it's going to hit a column that's going to be about right there. Before we like fully mark all the footings and everything out, right now we're just doing little hash marks around here to kind of get a feel for things, see how things are going to work. I want to leave plenty of room for vehicles to drive around the guard check. I don't want it to be tight. I mean, we've got all this acreage out here. No point in making a little tight entrance where you have to squeeze by a building or anything. So now that we have a million hash marks here, we're gonna actually want to be able to see these lines. And when your dirt's really dry and dusty, trying to spray a line doesn't really work because it just blows away all the little dirt particles that the paint is actually stuck to. So good trick here, wet everything down and it'll keep your paint lines nice and crisp. Get it all nice and wet here so we can see our lines better. Now we've got everything marked out, so you can see the guard check's going to be here. Now keep in mind all the lines that you're seeing are 4 inches past where the block work is going to be. Obviously our footing needs to come out a little bit further than where our block work is, so that nail right there is where the actual corner of the building is going to be. We've got our big columns over here. These are 4-foot columns. We've got 10 foot of wall that's going to go in between to another 4-foot column, then our 16-foot gate here to another 4-foot column. And obviously trying to dig footings here at like 16 inches wide, it's just not going to work out. So we're basically going to hog out this giant 4'8" or whatever this ends up being square here, and it's going to get a little sloppy on the footings. The dirt's really hard out here and they're pretty much in a tight spot. So this one right here, the guard check's not going to get a giant footing because it's only going to be a 6 or 8 foot tall building, no big deal. These columns, we're not exactly sure the end height is going to be, about 8 foot on that side. Then obviously out here, we're going to come out of the ground a little bit further than that, but we're going to be backfilling the dirt in. So you're only going to see 8 foot all the way along the line, even though currently the ground is very out of level. But we're going to build everything up higher to where the tops all hit level, and then we'll bring the grade up once all the block work is done. yesterday we got the footings dug. This morning we're taking my other commuter here. Oh, shoot, the stock 110 that we keep in the living room. This one needs to get some handlebars on it ASAP, but I'm enjoying being able to commute to work in an excavator on a 110. I take the golf cart, but Papa Ryno showed up and already stole that this morning. So go meet the boys down at the gate. So you can see all of the footings looking good. The guys did the last little bit of cleaning by hand, and we are pretty much ready to start setting forms now for the rebar. Now you've seen us set forms for flat work, for foundations and stuff. Setting forms for block work's a little bit different. We're not forming it up to hold the concrete in place. We're setting forms to hold the rebar in place this time. And basically you need the rebar layout to work in block work. So whether that be every 16 inches, every 8 inches, 24 inches. Willie, do you want to tell them or should I? You don't want to tell them? All right, I'll tell them. Well guys, I decided we're gonna make a change. And this is not exactly the ideal time to make the change, but it's better now than if we take the next step further. So we threw the drone up in the air. And after sitting there looking at it, once the footings are dug, I don't think the gate width is gonna be wide enough visually to like make this look as grand as I want. Will it work at a 16-foot wide gate? Absolutely. It's plenty of room to get the trucks through. We've been doing it. The old truck, I'm gonna bring James's dump trucks through there all the time. But to me, it just needs to be a wider entrance. Sometimes it's hard to visualize these things until you see them on the ground, and even spray painted out, I was like, I think it's good. But once we dug the footings and I'm sitting there looking at it, we're gonna make a change. We're gonna widen everything. So we're gonna get the Mini X fueled back up here. We're gonna head down to the gate and widen those footings. And again, a huge shout out to SoCal Greg A for letting me use this transfer tank. And shout out to Zach for swapping it out and getting us a whole new hose put on here, a longer hose. And we have a 90-degree turn off the pump over there, so we're no longer kinking hoses. Get the Mini X topped off. I always feel bad making changes because the guys are over here getting everything dialed in with the forms and stuff, but I caught this one in time. It is gonna be a little bit more work because we gotta clean out the new footing. We're gonna have to sandbag up where the old footing is so I don't end up with like a 6-foot wide footing. We're already overkill being 4 foot by 4 foot. Footings are gonna be monsters for these columns. Now, just for size reference, the original gate, well, the original gate's there, but the gate that me and Daddy put back up is about 16 feet. It's just a little bit shy of 16 feet. That's like a single gate in this world, it works. But like I said, for our entrance, I think we need to be bigger and grander, especially because the plan right now is to split them into double gates. So each side will have 2 swinging gates. That way we're not trying to cantilever out 16 feet, which is a lot of strain on the hinges, a lot of strain on the motor. And I don't ever want to have like a wheel on the end of the thing. I just think that looks a little bit tacky. We're gonna opt to go 20 foot. Now keep in mind, we're gonna lose some of that. So we're gonna have our block column, then we're gonna have our 4x4 square stock, which is gonna be what our hinges are gonna attach to, then the gate. So you're essentially losing 4 inches on each side, so there's 8 inches. Then you're losing a couple more inches on top of that for your hinge gap and all that. So we're essentially losing a foot. So if we do this at a 20-foot opening, it's gonna end up with like a 19-foot gate. So 9'6" on each wing that's gonna open. We'll give you guys a little size reference here. I'll kind of stand here and you can see from column to column, and then keep in mind at our 16-foot gap right here, we're still going to lose that same foot, so we're essentially 15-foot gates. So it's better to change now than to try and change after the concrete's in. So what we're going to do is we're going to rig these over 3 to 4 feet. We still got room before we hit this fencing, and this fencing and all this stuff's going to go at some point. We're going to try and figure out exactly how to re-gear the old entrance to still stay here to use as a service entrance for the trash trucks and all that, but not like look crappy and like stand out as a sore thumb. So we might put some plants there to kind of hide all the old stuff, and a lot of this old fencing is going to come down. We'll get our new marks here. We're just kind of eyeballing this bugger right there, this guy right here. We got the new footing laid out. I'm just going to take all that dirt, we're going to throw it over there. We're going to end up using sandbags to kind of section off where the old footing was and the new one's going to be, because obviously there's going to be a gap right there. And then we'll recompact all the dirt and all that stuff. So the column should be good. Ain't going anywhere on this giant 4 foot by 4 foot pad. All right, y'all, after getting out and seeing it, I feel a lot better. I know it only seems like 4 feet, not that big a difference, especially when you're burning a foot on each side for your posts and for your hinges, but I feel a lot better about the size of the gate that's gonna go in here. We did end up finding a wire over here, which we know where the telephone wire is, and it's right on the edge of the footing that we dug over here. So we missed that one, but I didn't know there was and or where they had run the electrical conduit for all the lights that are on the posts of the driveway. And then on the 2 big posts right there, you see there are 2 lights. And I knew the wire ran down this side of the property, but I've always kind of wondered at what depth. There are a couple of underground boxes along the way that they made connections in. So we did hit the conduit, but thankfully whoever installed this went with the big stuff. So the wire is perfectly preserved in there. And it's actually good because I'm gonna have my electrician come out and inspect everything, make sure everything's cool, but we are gonna be running lights and stuff over here for the gate, and we're gonna need power for the gate motor. So, glass half full kind of guy, we might be able to tap off of this, assuming everything's good back to the house, and this will be our power point. So, I don't feel horrible about exposing it. Like I said, we know the telephone wire is right there. You can see that little piece of conduit back there. So, we're gonna hand jackhammer around that. That way we don't break that wire, because that wire is the utilities, and we don't wanna mess with that. That electrical conduit, that belongs to us. And if that dirt wasn't so hard over there, definitely would have felt that before I got my first poke into the conduit, but you gotta like chisel through this dirt. This stuff is super, super hard out here. Now that I'm done making a mess over here, I gotta run down to the shop, so we will see you guys tomorrow once we get the rest of the forms in and we start doing the rebar. And just like that, y'all, we are back. We got Abel and Poppy doing that last little bit of handwork there around the pipe. So once they get that footing done, they'll come in, put the last little bit of form, which again, you can see the form work back here behind me. And remember, these forms are just to hold the rebar, but they do tell us the height of the concrete. So the bottom of the 2x4 is gonna be the top of the concrete for our footings. Now, obviously, we're putting our walls on a slope here, but you want your footings level. So you're gonna see there's a step right here. So concrete's gonna come up to the bottom of that 2x4, then it's gonna step down to the bottom of that 2x4. Reason being, if we kept it at the level right there, we're gonna end up being out of the ground over here, and we don't want that, because now you're trying to bury footing, and I mean, here it would work, but in most places it wouldn't work. So when you come in to put in steps like this, you gotta remember to keep it in terms of block work, just to make things easier. So that's an 8-inch step, which a concrete block is 8 inches. So you're basically gonna start at the lower point here. We're gonna come with our block, and it's gonna die in at the top of that other footing right there. Then we just come with our next course, and the next course will ride perfectly across the entire footing. So when you're doing this type of stuff, you wanna always consider doing things in block work, whether that be 8-inch, you could buy 4-inch block if you wanna do 4-inch tall, just keeping it simple. Obviously, there's gonna be a time or two where you get into something that's funky and you gotta cut the block, but to make it easier and to make it quicker, always try and set stuff in terms of working in block work. And that's exactly how we figured these footings. So the bottom of that footing over there, we went 2 foot down, because again, big columns. And then the next footing is obviously, we're still on that slope. So we basically set it to block work. I think we dropped it 16 inches, which is 2 courses of concrete block. Then over to here, we dropped it another course. Now the columns aren't ever gonna tie into each other, so you're never gonna see like, oh, this course is here, this course is there. But we want the tops to all hit the same. I want it to be level all the way across the top on each column. So the reason we step the footings and make them block work is now the top should hit if we say, all right, it's gonna take, 12 courses over here, but that's gonna equal 16 to 18 courses over here, and the tops are all gonna hit the same. Got a little conduit repair going on. So we're gonna cut off just a little broken pieces, tape it up, and then we're gonna end up sleeving it with a little bit bigger piece of conduit. That way everything should be fine. No water, nothing should get down in there. So we've gone ahead and got our sandbag dam put up here. That way, obviously, we don't end up using double the amount of concrete. We tamp down the sandbags and then we compact, obviously, our backfill over here. Is this ideal? No, but since we had to shift the footings over, it's the best way to do it, in my opinion. We could have formed it and then try to backfill later, but we use sandbags for a ton of projects we've done. I wish I was YouTubing back in the day when we were building a lot of houses on the beach, because when you're trying to dig footings into really soft beach sand, it doesn't work. So you can either do it like some guys do it, where they put drywall in, but then the drywall gets all bowed and your footings are all out of whack. Or what we would do is we would sandbag your entire footings, both sides. I mean, we're talking like 5, 6, 7,000 sandbags per job. I mean, it was insane the amount of sandbags that we would do, and we'd all fill them by hand. If I was building like some big 2-story structure here, being that I overdug the footing like that, I would have just poured this entire, at this point, 8 foot by 4 foot footing. But since it's just literally 2 oversized columns, that are holding up a small section of gate, I'm not worried about it at all. These footings are already absolutely overkill for what we're doing. So we used to run crews of 6 guys, 3 teams making sandbags like you can see behind me here. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to make sandbags. You can cut the top off a cone, you can build a little something, but this has always been the quickest method because nothing completely fills the bag up dang near to the top like we like to do. In fact, my uncle actually owns a company that builds sandbag attachments that'll make 6 sandbags at a time for a skid steer. A lot of the jobs that we've done in the past, they were so tight, being on the beach, like it was 0 setbacks, you're in an alleyway, there was just no room to stage a skid steer and sit there and make sandbags. And again, we fill the sandbags dang near all the way to the top. Haven't yet quite come across a machine that does that. That's worth the money to buy. So I decided to do a little check here on our well setup. Oh, geez, all right, I hear you animals, I hear you animals. So if you guys remember, when we had the fires come through, we ended up, our whole pump house got burned down. And it turns out that was the old well, which, yeah, we kind of found that out after I completely replaced the entire well setup. So the good well is the one closer to the gate down there, and it doesn't have the pressure tank set up and everything like that. So basically the way it works is you have your in-ground pump, which pumps the water up out of the ground and up into our storage tank behind us. Then from there, it is gravity fed back to down where the pump house was slash is going to be again in the future. And then there's a booster pump and that pressure tank down there that'll pressurize it to the house, to the sprinklers, whatever it may be. Being that we replaced everything here, thinking this was the good well and the well down by the gate was the old well, we tied in the auto cutoff switch when the tank is full to that well. And I was never sure if it was tied into both. That well had at one point been abandoned on the property, and I think 10, 20 years ago, something like that. Good news is it has since refilled, because I was kind of under the assumption that the good well was on, but I'd never really checked. Well, the good well's been off for 6 months, I want to say, and we have tons of water. Our tank's always been full. We've never run dry. So good news is we now have 2 wells that are fully functioning. Bad news is I just went and kicked on the good well, and we're gonna call them a good well, even though they're pretty much both good wells at this point. So I went and kicked on the newer well and wanted to see if it would shut off. And well, as you can see from the water on the ground here, that well is not tied into the auto shut off. So we got to get that figured out, and then we'll have 2 wells pumping out of the ground, which is cool because obviously, you know, water is very important. We'll go say what up to our girls. What's up, goats? You want to come out and say hi to everybody on YouTube? Come say hi to all your fans. Well, hello. Hi. Good morning. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna pee right there. All right. Well, good morning, girls. Good morning. What happened? You found some hay over there? Yeah, you found some leftover hay from Bubbles? So the darker brown one here, she is the very loyal and very attached one and doesn't want to leave your side. Then you got the more adventurous one back there who tends to want to get into trouble a little bit more. You guys want some goat food? Huh? Oh, is that good stuff? Okay. Every time I put them back, I make sure I give them a little bit of their favorite treat stuff. That way, as they get older, hopefully they're just like Bubbles and they know you sleep here at night and you don't get eaten. Now, until the baby goats get a little bit bigger and we can leave them out all day, Bubbles has since joined the pack of donkeys. He is now an honorary donkey. Bubbles, they treating you good? We'll take that as a yes. What's up, Willie? So Papa Ryno just showed up with our rebar that we're gonna be using in the footing. So we brought the Mini X down here. We're gonna pull all of our pre-bent rebar out of the back of the 6.0 here. Papa Ryno's got a lot of faith in the height on this boom. It ain't gonna go that high. Not exactly sure what he was thinking there. We're gonna have to shorten the chain. Shortening the chain. Yeah. So that was a close call there. Don't know where the pin just came flying out of the little hook that goes on the end of the chain there, and we can't find the pin, so yikes. So you always stand clear of overhead loads. We're just gonna go ahead and use one hook now, try and hook it to itself. Hopefully it'll work out better. Hopefully Papa Ryno realizes you gotta choke up on the chain a little bit. We don't need 42 feet of chain. Just don't fall on the tailgate. Don't fall on the tailgate. All right, we're gonna drop these in the shade right there so they're not 1,000,000 degrees when we go to grab them.
Well, he didn't have the pin.
Yeah, it worked its way up. All right, well, we found the little pin for the hook there. It was missing its cotter pin, or the cotter pin eventually worked its way out. So now we're getting the 3-inch dobies loaded up. This is gonna go on the bottom of our footing and hold the rebar 3 inches up off the ground. Now, quick costume change. I wish I could hang out here and get all the rebar tied in with the guys and really push the project along. But unfortunately, you guys probably see by my videos, I have to be in like a million places at once almost every single day. And as much as I love YouTube and I love filming and I love making content for you guys, I love being able to interact with you guys, there are days where I wish I could just put the camera down and just work. Like, weirdly, that's like a dream day to me, is days where I don't have to film anything and I can just go put my head down and get work done. But I gotta make content for you guys, can't let you guys down. So we're gonna head over to the race shop right now. We're gonna meet up with Fern, we're gonna meet up with Beal Racing. We got some pretty exciting stuff going on over there. Oh, hey buddy.
Started this video yet?
Yeah, I started this video. You taking over?
No.
Oh, you gonna be my camera right now?
Yeah, why not?
Turn around, talk.
What's up, guys?
So we picked up our co-dog, Chris. Chris, you ready to go, buddy?
Let's roll.
Where are we going?
I don't know. It's a surprise.
That's a surprise? I already told him we're going to the race shop.
Oh, okay.
All right, buddy. We're in a sketchy back alley parking lot, dude. What are we doing?
We're gonna sell something. Don't ask questions.
Can I bring a camera along?
Why not?
All right. What do we got, Fern? What do we got? Food?
My sausages.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chris ate your sausage?
Yeah, my sausage.
Dang, one bite.
We got some big stuff coming.
Hey, big sausage coming.
It's a pretty big sausage.
Chris loves a good big sausage.
Yes, we do.
So the rumors are true, Fernando. Big sausage.
Semi-famous.
You got Fernando as the team liaison for Beal Racing.
Okay.
Hold on.
We go.
Here we go, Fernando. Oh, all right, Chris.
Have you announced this yet?
Now, what are we doing today, Fern?
Work for It is officially going to be going over 300 miles an hour and hopefully just under, or just above 3 seconds.
There you go.
You guys will see this.
Handle 300 miles an hour?
We're going to find out. But
Yeah, hold on. If the sticker flies off at 300 miles an hour,
you can throw them on again.
like it's sucked in the intake of like the car next to him, am I responsible?
You're for the win.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's a big announcement coming for some stuff coming down the line.
Brandon, where's the keys for the dragster? I got a keychain we put on the keys for the dragster.
Yes, I'll make sure these get on the keys, bro. A lot of the guy, like the drivers and stuff, like personal to them, it like happens kind of like around the driver. So
Okay.
like in this area, and then like a lot of times like the cameras and stuff, they kind of get in there. This one's going away, and then I got some space up here as well.
Okay.
So you can kind of, if you have a big preference, let me know. But otherwise, my thought was here mainly because it's like it's kind of a thing in the sport that like this is what's personal to the driver goes like here.
Okay.
Like on the side of the roll cage, right here. On the funny cars, it's like right behind the window.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool.
I'm good with that.
In my opinion.
Yeah, that works for me.
Work for It. Oh, we're here you go.
Don't cry, Fern.
I'm a crier. Look at this. Is now on the car. We're gonna be going over 300 miles an hour, Pomona, Vegas, and
So this decal right now is temporary. There's gonna be a whole new wrap on the car. We're gonna get the new work for decals on here, but it's cool little promo stuff that we're doing right now. Bro, I know you're over here looking at like the hot rods and whatever, but dude, bro, they got a compact 20. What? Dang, dude, this old girl is a classic. They need to get this up on the lift. Take this thing off. Let's get the old compact 20 up there. Dude, look at the scrub like brush size on this thing. What's that?
I said they use this one.
Right? This girl, this thing has seen some stuff right here, guys. I know the drag cars are super cool. I know these hot rods are super cool, but that's where it's at right there. Look.
Hold down, guys.
it's on Jeremy.
Ready, and go. Only till she hits.
Great work, man.
Yeah, they couldn't do without me.
Oh yeah, you're so strong. Yeah. All those guns, bro.
All those guns.
Dude, it looks so sketch.
It's crazy, huh?
Super sketchy. Fern, stand under it so you can hold it up the tip.
Tank. It's a fuel tank. That is the supply.
We're using some ABS there. Do some plumbing.
Yeah. It's funny how this is the fastest you can go in legally, other than having like a jet engine on there, but how delicate these machines are and how light they are and how amazing.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to it.
No, all this engineering, but my friends' logos are on there. That's the best part. My friends' logos are on there.
We all win together, Fern.
Yes, we do. We all win together. Fern, should we throw some methods on here? We should throw some methods.
You want to see
Methods.
some methods on this thing?
Methods, yes.
Big help, Fern. You're a big help. There you go.
What's crazy is that when we're on the starting line, we stand right behind the driver, and if the engine goes, we as a team go with the driver.
Fern, that's why I stood like 20 feet back. Yeah, y'all crazy.
No, you gotta be.
Y'all
like
got a death wish.
You gotta be like 2 feet next to it.
No, I was good.
In the chest.
I had one
like,
run standing next to the thing on the starting line. I was good.
Yes, it's insane.
All right, y'all, so that was our quick little pit stop over here at BO Racing again. We got some cool collaboration stuff going on. Make sure you guys check out BO Racing on Instagram, as well as in the NHRA drag series, Top Fuel drag series. Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to offend you there, buddy.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable?
Yeah.
I'm working on it, dude.
All right.
Are you working on your winning speech when we win the race?
Thanks everybody for coming. Don't forget to follow C Bailey 619.
Oh, that's gonna be your winning speech. All right. Unfortunately, I don't think Chris is gonna fit in a Top Fuel dragster, but what?
You heard that guy said?
What?
He said fat people drive a hood.
So you're getting in there?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll get Chris in a Top Fuel dragster, but super cool to be working with Brandon Welch. I know we've done a video in the past with these guys, but to be able to like get our name on their car is a super awesome opportunity. So we'll be back at the ranch in the morning, hopefully getting some footage of the rebar and all that stuff going in, and then we can stop bouncing around 8 million places. All I gotta say is Chris and everybody in the crew is getting real good at the old hand slap transition there, but we're back at the ranch and we are, as you can see, getting the rebar all put in here for our buildings. Obviously, well, one building, the guard check here. The rebar is all in. We gotta get 2 more bars over here. We gotta figure out exactly what size door and stuff that we're putting in, because we will be removing 2 bars or 3 bars, whatever it ends up being on this side, where the door is gonna be, because obviously there's not gonna be any block wall there. I think on this side of the guard check, there's gonna be a window, so we'll just trim those bars wherever that's gonna be, and then we'll have a window on this side as well. Got our mats over in our column footings here, and then Abel and Chava are coming in and they're putting in all of our verts, which this is what ties the block into the footing, which basically is anchoring it to the ground. You saw yesterday that we had all of the verts, or the L's as we call them, all pre-bent for us. It just makes more sense. I know this is a small job, and we could have sat here and bent them with our cutter bender, which I talked about in previous videos, but if you guys ever use one of these, like, it's great for a bend or 2 or maybe 10, but if you're gonna sit here all day and try and bend rebar on that, it's no fun. One thing we don't have is a hydraulic rebar bender. It's just cost effective wise, it makes more sense nowadays just to have somebody pre-manufacture the stuff that you need. But we do keep the cutter bender in hand just in case we need to make some more 90s for the corners or whatever it may be. Now you guys can kind of see what I meant when I said that we use the forms in footings for the rebar, not for the concrete. So see the little line with the S through it? That denotes where steel goes. And then we attach the steel to the actual 2x4, which will then all be cut off once we remove the 2x4, and we float the footings when the concrete is in them. So the boys are gonna carry on here. We're gonna wrap up this video. I know it was a lot of talking and a lot of rambling, but this is kind of stage 2, and I wanted to kind of preface everything and why we're doing the things that we're doing. The OGs to the channel though, you guys will be very excited when you see who's coming out to do all the block work out here. And that's all I'm gonna say. You're already gonna know, and I'm sure the comment section is gonna blow up. And if you guys have been on this channel for a long time, you know that is like, I say special guests from time to time. This is gonna be like extra special guests that you guys are gonna be stoked to see. With that, we're gonna wrap up as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now. They do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, get a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforitapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah.